if I want to put an alignment into a document, so if I want to include it in a paper or if I want to include it in a project report, then actually probably I don't want to include the entire alignment. But let's say that I do. So what I need to do is I need to take what I get from a program like Mega. I need to get this information and I need to have it in a format that I can insert into my document. Now, one way of doing this, and I've got a program to do it here, is to use an image capture program like Snagit. You could do a print screen of the entire screen, but that will be even worse than the one that I'm just about to show you. So I've got Snagit and I can press on capture and it will capture different parts of the screen depending on what I highlight. So let's say I decide to highlight this section of the screen. So I've shown the menus and things, I've shown the sequence alignment, and I've not got too much white space, so I could do it to there perhaps. So there is my image. So I can then save this, file, save as, I'll save it into my downloads, I'll just give it some arbitrary name, and it's saved. Now if I go down to downloads, and I open that image, and it opens into photos, it looks okay when I look at it. But if I zoom into it, you can see that it becomes fuzzy, blurred and pixelated. So if you send this to a journal, they will probably send it back and say, this is inadequate. It's not at high enough resolution. It's not a good enough image to use within the paper. And it's certainly not a good image to try and use in a poster presentation if you're going to do one of those. So we need to do something better than that. So I've got a file here which is called BoxShade, and I've also shown that in Mega I've renamed, I need to rename the sequences. I need to change their names because at the minute the names are too long. Having all of this in the alignment diagram is too long and too confusing. So there are parts of this that are redundant. I don't need to know the name. I don't particularly need to know the date that it was collected. I definitely don't need to know it's influenza A because it's the same for everyone. I probably don't need to know the organism it was taken from, and I done this extra bit in the dates and times. This can all disappear. I can just keep it down to just being each of the individual numbers for the H's, because this is an alignment of all the different hemagglutinin subtypes. So here I've got a file where they've been renamed, and if I look at it with Notepad, you can see I've replaced all that to just be H17, H8, H15 or whatever else. So this is a much neater and smaller file in terms of the headings. If I open it up in Mega, you can see you don't have all those long names, you just have H17, 8 and whatever else. So that's more useful for what we're going to do in a second, which is to use the program BoxShade. Sometimes you can use programs on your computer and sometimes you want to use web tools. So I'm going to show the BoxShade version which you can access online. So you can access it from this particular address. If you search for BoxShade using Google, you should find it. So the first thing you need to do is put in an alignment file. So choose the file. It is in bioinformatics, it's in my BoxShade examples, and it's the one which is renamed, and open. It then guesses the input format, and it's faster which it's getting from extension, and the output can be any of these things. So you can have a rich text file which can be opened with words. You can cut and paste it directly into there. It can create fig files, PostScript files, or pict files. It's not going to create JPEG, TIFF or RPG because those are the pixelated things that are done before. Those are examples of what we call bitmap graphics, and what you're doing here is creating a vector graphic, which is much better. So I'm just going to leave it as RTF. So rich text format, and you just press start shading and download the formatted alignment. So this will be in my downloads. So it says output.rtf. So I open this in Word. This is the BoxShade output for that particular file. So you've got the name of the sequence, you've got the consensus, you've got a colouring of them if they're conserved. So that's the ATG of the start codon, and you've got all those different boxes. Now, to be honest, taking the entire sequence like this, which I can do, but it's many pages, so it's 11 pages, is probably not useful. So it's better to pick a part of the alignment. So let's say I wanted to focus on this insertion here to talk about it. So I can copy that, file, new document, and paste it. So I've just got that part of the alignment. In different programs, you might be able to specify the range, the window, which you want to display the alignment for. Within that particular BoxShade one, I didn't see that. It doesn't have... So the output width is 60, so showing how many characters go in each row, but it doesn't have a setting for when it starts. There is also a Python version of the program, so you don't have to use it online if you don't want to.